Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide podcast, where we discuss your favorite marble sports. We bring you in-depth analysis of each event across many different marble sports competitions. Catch all the information and drama you want to hear about your favorite players, teams, events, and more right here on the MSW podcast.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Commander Wolf.
And we have a great episode for you today, guys. We're just going to get right into it here. We're having a unique guest on today that doesn't know a lot about marbles, but that is the point of this episode, actually, because we're going to be talking to a guest that's just getting into marble sports, that has a lot of burning questions for us about the whole community, and we're just going to be answering them, giving like a whole basics of marble sports and what the community's like. His name happens to be ZombieZander, which is his Discord name. His name is just Xander, but he's from a different podcast called the Fortnite Champions Podcast. We're just going to go ahead and plug that now. He talks about Fortnite with a bunch of his friends or whatever, and you can go check that out if you want. If you don't like Fortnite, well, they get off topic sometimes, so go enjoy that. But yeah, he's going to be coming on here after the news and discussing, picking our brains about these marbles. Anything to add there, Mr. Waff?
Not really. Not a whole lot has, I guess, happened and that needs to be announcements. Johnny Marble will cover all that for us.
Yeah, he will. Also, the pressure is off me today, guys, which is awesome because I don't have to do the editing. Mr. Waff is taking the editing this time. What a guy. So credit to him. And hopefully he doesn't mess it up. So fingers crossed that this won't come out with me at 0 volume and him at 100, because that is a distinct possibility. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that.
I might just remove you from this episode entirely.
Oh, Jesus. That wouldn't sound very good, but...
No, it wouldn't.
No, it would not. But yeah, that is our intro. I don't know if we have any announcements, do we?
Not that I think so. Nothing that's non-news related.
Oh yeah, I guess not. I mean, like Marble Showdown's coming up, guys. So sorry, all these things come to my head right as I think about them. So I'm just spewing things at you right now. But yeah, Marble Showdown comes out actually in my time situation as I'm recording before it comes out, but you guys will probably listen to it after it comes out. Coming out tomorrow, Friday, August, I don't know, 16th, is that it? Probably. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. I believe the Sand Rally is the first event, guys, so definitely be excited for that. I'm actually in a draft league for this, created by the Marble Olympics Facts Instagram, so you guys should go check. Well, you can't really go check that out, but you can definitely watch the video and root for my teams happen to be the Snowballs and Team Primary, which I'm thinking are going to do very good. We saw some good things from the Snowballs in the 2018 Marble Olympics. They finished like 6th, and they ran in the top 4 for a bunch of time. And Team Primary, well, they've kind of stuck forever. So they have a cool name, they got a cool logo, but not really bringing anything else to the table. So, I mean, it's no better than picking like the Limers in that situation anyway. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think it can go any way. The only way I don't think it's going to go is I don't think we're going to see these Hubelino teams putting any good effort forth. One might squeak by and qualify there, but I wouldn't expect anything great for them. So, to that person who picked both Hubelino teams as their draft picks for that draft league, if that person listens to this, yeah, I don't know what you were thinking, bud. So, yeah, that's really all I have for you guys now. And I think we should just go to the news and hear what Johnny Marble has to say.
Marble Sports fans! I am Johnny Marble here with the Marble Sports Worldwide News. Did you miss me? Our top story today really tops them all as Jelly's Marble Runs debuted on ESPN 8, The Ocho, with an amazing highlight reel and commentary from Greg Woods. Thank you, Greg. It will be exciting to see them again on ESPN next year. However, JMR did run into a bit of a problem during this experience, as ESPN asked them to take out all mentions of the word Olympics from the show. Apparently, Olympics and Olympics are copyrighted to some degree. With this new difficulty, there is a possibility of a name change in the future. But don't worry, the content will only continue to get better. In other JMR news, Sounds of the Marble Olympics by Melicus and Minos has been released on multiple music platforms. Tune in to the album to hear the music that complements your favorite marble sporting event. On over to MSPN now. It looks like Marble Mayhem Season 3 has returned this week. That's right, I'm not lying to you. Johnny Marble would never lie. But it won't have the same 3D element as last time. Although, it will feature a very exciting Algodo Marble competition, which is always a plus. MSPN continues their work on M Games, which we'll see release in the near future, so don't worry. Finally, the rollout has been revived. Credit to Mathdress and Marble Guy, the host of this podcast by the way, to rekindle the interest of it. The rollout is the name of a soon-to-be-released Marble Sports magazine, complete with interesting articles and visuals to entertain you all. A link to subscribe to the magazine can be found on the Marble Olympics Reddit or the Marble-based Discord. That's all for this week. Let's take it back to Brendan and continue on with the MSW podcast. I've been Johnny Marble, and thank you for joining me.
Alright guys, we are back from the news. Thank you again, Johnny Marble, for bringing us another exciting news segment. That was now the 5th time I think that I've thanked him, because he's been actually our first steady news guy for quite a while. As you guys remember, a little bit of history here. Our first couple of guys only lasted about one full news recording, and then fell off the face of the earth. So, shout out to John Wood. I don't know what the hell happened to him, but he's somewhere out there, hopefully, still alive. And yeah, Johnny Marble has been doing a great job. So, again, we enjoyed that. But yeah, we are here with our guest. Oh my god, say hello, ZombieZander.
Hello!
Awesome. I love to hear that excitement, even though it's getting a little late over here on the East Coast. Do you want to...
East Coast, Beast Coast.
Absolutely. Do you want to talk a little bit about, just give a minute to the podcast you do, kind of a little bit of a quick plug on what you're doing over there?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a host of the Fortnite Champions podcast. We've been going for a little over a year now. I guess almost coming up on 2 years. We've got about almost 80 episodes, weekly episodes. And yeah, we basically just talk about, weekly changes, how you can improve, various strategies and opinions and on the forever changing world of Fortnite. So and we're kind of stupid, so people like to listen to
just
us,
like us. Not much different from
okay,
what
not
we do
that
over
stupid.
Here. That was mean.
That's all right.
That was a little mean. That was cold.
It's all right.
Sometimes you are definitely okay. You know what? He's a Limers fan. I'm just gonna call it. He's definitely a Limers fan.
Oh,
with that kind of attitude.
You don't even know. You don't even know.
Or should I say, even a Savage Speeders fan?
Oh man, that diss really didn't land with me.
No, it did not. All
right, and that's a good segue into a little bit more about Mr. ZombieZander. He does not know much about this community. He doesn't know much about the memes and the jokes and all the weird stuff that goes on in here. The magazine that's in the works. You probably just heard about that. Yeah. Look at that. These are oh god, authentic reactions. There's a word.
That's what I'm talking about.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know about the fact that Marble Olympics has now got a sponsor, a real life sponsor, SeatGeek. I don't know. This wasn't in the news, so I'm just gonna say it now. They actually do have a sponsor by this company. I think it what do they do? Like help you get cheaper seats for
I think cheaper seats for like other events, yeah.
Sports events, yeah. So they're actually a sponsor. So we're getting a lot of good stuff. And yes, Elijah from the live chat, it is Marble League now. We have to remember that.
Oh, that's right. Changing. I heard this from Mr. Woff just earlier because apparently there was a cease and desist sent out from the Olympics.
There was
bitches.
Quite a bit of drama.
Oh, sorry. Is there cursing on this podcast? I don't actually know.
Probably. There probably is.
I try to avoid cursing as much as possible. I've only cursed once. It was on the filler episode.
I will also avoid cursing from here on out. I usually only drop 1 or 2 F-bombs on my podcast an episode. So there was my
I
one.
Can't speak to that.
I will not. I respect your craft.
Yeah. I mean, I can't guarantee either way. Depends on how I'm feeling. I might curse at you. Hopefully not, because that's a little mean. And I might just be talk about marbles. Oh, well, we got a quick mute.
Yep. No, sorry, I had to cough.
Oh.
Didn't want to blow your eardrums out.
Yeah. Usually I just cough it through and plow through.
That's all right. That's what I got hotkeys for.
Oh, I don't have any hotkeys.
Well,
Wow.
you just ain't playing the game right yet then.
All right. Well, I'm going to figure that out later because I want people to hear some Marble stuff. So yeah, we're going to jump into it. ZombieZander, new to the community, as I've said multiple times now, and we're just going to field his questions. He wants to know things, and this is great for people out there who found this podcast and are new to this whole thing. We may be able to provide some more insight on what this whole Marble Sports thing is. And,
Heck yeah.
Why and how and where and when and how does this even exist and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing before we get into these questions is how did you get into Marble Sports? How did you find Marble Sports? We want to know a little bit about how you even came upon this crazy thing. Okay.
So I feel like just like a lot of other people kind of perusing YouTube on a bored, Saturday afternoon or something. And then I come across this one video of this pretty awesome little trek of like 20 marbles going through a track down sand. And it was like casted and everything. And I was like, oh my God, this is so well put together. And it's literally just a one-shot camera following these marbles going down this sand like beach. Like that was it. And I was like, this is super dope. And it was like I don't even remember. It was like 2012 or something. I feel like it was while I was in college, and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, if this is only annually or something, I can't wait for next year's because I want to like pick whichever, marble I want to get and like move on and see if it won or something. And so a year passed and I didn't really think about it to look for the next video. But then like this year we started interacting, me and the rest of my podcast started interacting with you a little bit, Brendan. And so you kept talking about the Marble Olympics. I was like, what is this Marble Olympics thing going on? So I typed in Marble Olympics to YouTube and the 2019 Marble Olympics showed up. And first of all, there was a 2.5-hour video with the Marble Olympics. And then secondly, there was like all broken down into like subsections of like events and stuff. And I was like, what in the world? And I clicked on it and I watched it and I was like, this is crazy. First of all, they have stands with marbles in them. That's the attention to detail. They're trying to make this a spectator sport for marbles, watching marbles, and it's like, and then the production value of just this whole thing, like not only just the camera work and the announcing and all that stuff, but the contraptions controlling all of these marbles blows me away. They're like a Lego, I don't know what other thing, Lincoln Logs, like other stuff that people build stuff
Cubolino,
with as kids.
I don't know, whatever it's called.
It's just amazing. And I've like watched a whole bunch of videos. I put one on the TV tonight, like just to kind of like get a little prep action going. And there was an underwater event, like a funnel event. I'm blown away.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
So I'm just like super interested on a lot of stuff that goes on with the Marble Olympics and everything. So like that's my backstory with marble sports. What should I call them? Marble sports or rolly?
Marble
bowlies?
sports is.
We usually call them
sports is-
we roll marble sports up here. Sounds professional, I guess. I don't know. But
All right,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So marble sports.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So my first question. So if you guys have any questions for me, please. But I also have
Oh yeah, we'll
questions.
roll right through it. That was a good answer to our first question. Yeah, we'll roll right into the questions
roll
here.
right through it. We made that joke off the air, so we're just taking it back onto the air. So sorry if you guys
I'm just so
use
numb
that
to it,
every
I
single
literally don't even
episode.
notice
I
it.
apologize.
I literally, it's like I've done this long enough that like the roll thing is like I'm numb to the whole thing. I don't even hear it.
Dude, I feel you. So, okay. So first off, let me get a little background on you guys. I know that your fans have already heard all that stuff, but like, okay, let me start here. How did this start?
So marble racing on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, started all the way back in 2012 or 2013.
Yo, shut up. Did I nail it with that year?
No, the Sand Marble Rally did not start that year, so you're wrong on. But like marble racing itself has been around for that long.
Okay.
See, like, the first channel that I can remember was who inspired a lot of the Algodo racers. Which since you don't know, you probably don't know at least. Algodo is like a physics engine that was used for like education and stuff. But a lot of people on YouTube realized that like you could use it to do a marble race, and so.
You know that way.
Yeah, and so the most popular, at least as far as I'm aware, was Carrick. 2011, back in 2011, his very first marble race, and so he inspired a lot of people to make marble races with Algodo, and so that continued on for a few years, and then people would do real life marble races with like the marble track toys and stuff, but then like it really wasn't until Yella's marble runs with the Marble Olympics and the Sand Marble Rally that the production quality of marble racing shot up in the entire community, like with commentary and like professional camera work and all that stuff. And like, so the marble sports we know today didn't really start until Yella came in, and that was around 2015, 2016. And it's been continuing that way ever since.
Well, someone's having a conversation. Woo!
I just realized I muted my audio because I clicked on a video, don't know what I was playing. So I may have missed. You might have tried talking and I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just thought we were getting some marbles for us. No, I'm just kidding. I should stop. I shouldn't say that.
okay.
I shouldn't do it.
Okay,
I shouldn't do it.
I'm sorry. So you can just let me know I guess what happened. Like what did I?
Well, what happened was you kept talking like a retard. We tried to come and ask some questions. So I mean,
sorry. I'm
You said
sorry.
it. I'm not touching that one.
Nah. No, yeah. Me and Mr. Waff, we have a love-hate relationship. But, if I don't know what part of that mess you guys got to hear because hopefully some good editing will be done. But yeah, pretty much, Marble Sports started as a computerized thing, right? So you had that computerized physics engine. People would make a bunch of different colored circles, marbles, whatever, or sometimes even different size and shapes if they're like not very professional about it. And they would kind of have a bunch of little competitions, rolling down a hill, falling through a kind of obstacle course with like spinning things and whatever.
Okay.
And that was kind of like the thing. It wasn't, to me, in my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of Algodo. Okay, I know Mr. Waff would disagree in that sense, but Algodo back in the dark ages of marble sports or whatever you'd call it, not really my favorite. You then move on to about 2015, even 2014, up through now, where you start to get channels making real marble races, and then up in 2016, when you had the Gels marble runs come through with that amazing Marble Olympics, was, by the way, even in 2016, that thing was amazing quality. I mean, you got to admit that.
Well, I would admit it if I had seen it, but I'll watch it now.
But
now that you send me the link, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, we'll definitely work on that. But someone write that down. But to-do list. But it took off. We got the professional commentary. Greg Woods, God, that guy sounds like she should be doing like NFL or something. But I mean, you started getting that.
But he chose you guys.
But he chose marbles, absolutely. And I think he gets paid pretty well. I don't know. I don't know that much, but good for him. And he so that's when other channels started to do it too. So you have other channels out there that we talk about. That's why we're Marble Sports Worldwide instead of Marble Olympics podcast, because we talk about this. There's a channel called MSPN, which is like Marble Sports Performance Network, like ESPN. You have I don't know, a couple other channels like Marble Fubica, which, by the way, a little trivia on Marble Fubica. Fubica is just marble in Portuguese, so it's just marble if you translate that all. Or Fubica, can I say?
Depends on the audience.
Depends on the audience. But absolutely, yeah, so many channels started doing that. You got more of like no commentary, no professionality, kind of just people getting marble tracks and videotaping them back in the earlier years. But now you're getting a lot of channels, even, right now there's like, in my opinion, 3 that are really like top channels in this respect. And then there's a few kind of like trying, who are making like professional competitions with commentary and good editing and everything. Some people really aren't good at it, like, M&H Racing, may I say. By the way, that's for... It's kind of like a different topic, their whole rant on how bad they did. But most of these channels do quite a good job. So it kind of just evolved. Once JMR came out with that Marble Olympics, it kind of just took off. And now you have...
Is JMR, is that, because I typed in Marble Olympics and it says Gels Marble Runs. Is that the same person?
Yes. JMR is just the acronym version of that.
JMR. I'm so dumb. You're right.
Oh, you'll get it. We're all dumb here on the podcast.
Awesome. Okay. My next question. So a marble is, it has to be glass?
Absolutely.
Like this, all this stuff makes sense, but now there's a very specific like competition around marbles. Like, of course, I would just tell you, of course, a marble is glass, but I don't know when it comes to like what you guys are doing. So,
like, it depends, I guess, on the race that is done on the channel. Like, so in the Sand Marble Rally, for instance, red number 3 is actually a keychain with the chain removed, and so
they made a whole documentary on that.
Yeah, they did. MSPN did a documentary on that one, and like there have been like some standalone races where they use different types of stuff. I'm pretty sure that some of the Hubalino teams might not. I think they're all glass marbles, but some of them might be plastic. It's entirely possible that some races had plastic marbles, but they're probably individual races. For the most part, Marble Olympics and stuff like that, they try to stay fair and make sure all the marbles are the same makeup.
Now, thank you. That actually ties me into my next question. For events and I mean, is there a standard manufacturer for marbles that you guys use?
I think JMR buys from the same place. They buy from like Marble World. I don't know what it is, but they buy from the same place, I believe. And I mean, there's no standard thing like, the whole world buys from this one place.
Right.
There's just like, normally you use glass marbles. And for JMR, to kind of go deeper into your question, for the Sand Marble Rally, for example, the glass marbles must be 24 millimeters. And for the Marble Olympics, they must be 16 millimeters. So that's like a standard by which they must do it. Because, I mean, think about it. If you were using all different sizes, first of all, the track wouldn't work for everybody. It would get all complicated.
Some of the big ones would bully the little ones. Yeah, I get it.
Yep. And even I don't even see many different size marbles in the stands, which I think they should start to implement. But
and if you look closely, you'll see that a lot of them are different sizes. Like there's been plenty of different varying sizes.
All right, well, I'm wrong.
I mean, maybe to you, they all look the same to me.
I mean, like there are some really tiny ones. Like if you look at in some of the zoom in shots, there's like a normal size marble, and there's one that is so clearly smaller than it. Like it's super tiny.
I'm gonna have to look closer.
Yes, you will. But yeah, they usually have some regulations. Another thing I want to definitely jump in on right now, as we're on this question,
please do,
is the fact that. Thank you for your permission. This is my podcast. Remember that. I mean, oh Jesus. But
we're very professional here. I'm just following suit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, our name is 4 words long. I mean, that means it's professional.
That was
and
Mr. Waff that farted, by the way.
In our Discord name. I don't know who did it, but I'm just talking over it. Yeah, this is anyway. What was my point? What
Your
was my point?
Yeah.
We were talking about manufacturers and sizes of marbles, and there's something else you wanted to bring up while we're still on this topic.
All right. So there's this channel called MSPN who makes good content, or supposedly will make good content if they finally release the M Games, which is a new marble tournament, which is set to be really good. And what they're doing is that there's been regulations on marbles for so long, how you just use glass and you just use the same size for like now 4 years. There's a little bit of history here. That now they're trying a new thing where they add this like metal marble component. So like they have the glass marble thing, but first of all, he's allowing glass marbles to range in like a full millimeter from the 16. So you might see like a 15 millimeter marble, even like almost a 17 millimeter marble, which, you know, not a huge difference, but you can kind of tell the difference in the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Then also he's adding this metal marble component where each team that competes has this like metal, same size I think, but obviously metal is a little heavier and a different material, which kind of like is on the team, and it can like be used in different courses based on what the community coaches pick. So like you kind of have this different element to it. We're actually starting to use different types of marbles. So it's actually been regulated for such a long time that now it's kind of a unique thing to kind of pull out of that regulation for a marble sports competition and use different kinds of marbles. So it's kind of, when you talk about real well-made professional competitions for marble sports, you usually have a good amount of regulations in that respect.
Okay, and that actually, you guys are doing a great job for setting me up for each one of my next questions, because my next question is there a governing body for the whole of marble sports? Like, who decides what events you're doing? Who decides what the regulations are for each event? Is it typically the content creator, or is there, you know, a council that gets together and decides we need to do this thing, that we've tried out a couple instances where this is great and we should do this instead?
So for Yellow's Marble Runs, they have something called the JMRC, which is the Yellow's Marble Runs Committee, and so like they will work with Yella and his brother Dion, like, and they will like come up with those regulations and rules themselves. Like generally, I think Yella makes the decisions about what events he wants to use, but like they'll probably like give him like pointers or things that like, or suggestions on like what he could do, what might be better to do. Other channels like MSPN, for instance, most if not all the decisions are made by Hershey. And by the way, Marble Guy, the statement about they're supposedly having good content, I would say that they already do have good content. So like he's more of a fan of the live action stuff, but they have like Marblades and stuff. So like. So with MSPN, their main
What's a Marblade?
Oh, so
let's finish this question before we go there.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
MSPN has been the one that's been really pushing the envelope with like what is to be expected from the marble sports world beyond just racing and stuff. And his regulations generally are like he wants to have like unique marbles, like as Brendan mentioned, like some of the marble members are a bit smaller, a little bit lighter or heavier, and some of them even have like damage, like chips in them, but like that's just a unique aspect to them. And like, so rather than trying to make them all equally fair, like but making sure they're all the exact same, he will want to try and make something that's unique and specific to each marble, make them more special. And like he'll keep track of statistics and stuff to make sure. But in terms of, I guess, regulations for tracks, he just, as long as like it can fit the marble and they can run on it, then that'll be what it is. So each channel, like, I guess, has their own rules that they follow, but nothing is JMR is definitely the most formal of all of them.
Yeah, just to jump in real quick before we explore whatever the heck Marblades is, which is, by the way,
yes, please.
I've seen that on MSPN, absolutely amazing content. I know people, you know what, table that for a sec, but for JMR, that's the professional channel. When I think about the whole situation of marble sports, JMR's professional channel. They make the Marble Olympics, which I know is changing the Marble League, but it's like an Olympic professionality type thing. They have the opening ceremony, they have the music, everything's regulated, everything's timed, and they have something called the Gels Marble Runs Committee, the JMRC. I've been trying to get on that, by the way. Which I hope to get on.
Sorry, this episode's gonna bump you up into the spotlight.
I hope so, but yeah,
not from me. I'll tell you that.
Oh my god. But yeah, they make the decisions or help make them. Obviously, it's Gel's final decision. By the way, I say Gel. Okay, he says Yella because he thinks he's he thinks he's a worldwide guy and he can say all their accents. But I just say Gel. That's the American way to say it. So he'll say Yella. But yeah, it's Gel's final decision. He makes the content. Or his brother Dion kind of steps in a lot of places. But the JMRC definitely has a big part in those decisions. You have the head of that, the president of that, which is Melikis. Say that 5 times fast. But he kind of is like that third person that kind of really helps plan that whole thing because it's a huge production. So yeah, they have a whole committee and everything, and to get in is hard. But then you move over to the M Games, which is on MSPN. Which is kind of like, look at the M Games, like the X Games. It's Extreme Marble Sports is what it's supposed to be. So that's kind of like the whole gimmick there. That's why they're using different size marbles, the metal marble, and, that kind of stuff. And they don't really have a committee. Hershey's just kind of like, you know what? This is how I'm going to do it now. And that's what he does because he's just doing it on his own. I think he asked people, I don't know if he probably asked people for help, I think, but it not necessarily as a committee.
He asked the patrons, he'll ask us, hey, is this a good idea? Should the logo look this way? Should this be an event, maybe? He asked for, event ideas, team names and stuff like that. So, as patrons, we get to have some say in, helping form the events and things that are coming forward, but we don't get to know everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how he runs it. And then just to quickly finish here, Marble Fubica, which is the other channel that I consider real important, big subscribers and actually makes good quality, M&H. But I have no idea how they run their thing. That guy's been sporadically Discord chatting me once a month, begging me for help, but then doesn't check Discord. So he was like, oh, I want to make a new tournament. Because he asked me, okay, actually a good point to talk about this. He asked me to help him because he used to do, for a while, his gimmick was he would use real countries for the marble teams and do that. But then I think people started not liking that, and I totally didn't like it. So then he was like,
I could see how that would, add a little bit of, I don't know. I mean, if you have an international scene where a lot of people are participating, then that's great.
Yeah.
But...
we had a big no absolutely fine. We had a big discussion on that, and that's a whole other topic where we're talking about whether that's actually a good way to do it or not, because it depends on really what you're looking for. But he asked me for help on changing the thing. He wants to do a new tournament with new teams, and then didn't really respond. So I don't really know what kind of team he has over there or how that works. But yeah, those are pretty much your 3 big channels and how they run it. To answer that question,
please tell me what is this Marblades you've just spoken of, and then just passed right by.
I wanted to get the question out before you hear what this is.
All right, okay. So Marblades is basically Hershey put a marble onto a Beyblade, and then they fight each other.
I was hoping that was what it was.
Yes.
Oh, it is actually absolutely awesome.
It is.
I know. There's a lot of comments out there that are like, oh, well, you just put a marble on a Beyblade. That's not really that freaking creative, is it? Well, actually, I think it's well done. All right, so I'm going to say that right now. Yeah. When people make that comment, okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Waffles, I want to finish this. I think it's good, and it's kind of unique. And the fact that they put the marble on instead of just taking a Beyblade and naming it for the team of a marble or something, it's good. It's kind of like the way Hershey said it was it's kind of like the marbles are driving the machines. That's how you look at it.
Yeah.
So kind of as long as you're into the whole pretend world, it definitely is an awesome thing.
I feel like you have to be to some extent, a little suspension of disbelief to really enjoy. I feel like anything,
Yeah.
So.
With Marble Sports, I equate it to a giant role playing session where basically I would actually get really into it. You can get really into it, and then if you get upset, you realize you're getting upset over marbles, and then you can laugh at yourself. During one of the I think it's 2018 Marble Olympics, they had a stage fan event where a fan ran onto the track, and then I got angry oh come on, Snowball Security, you gotta do better than that. And then I realized I was legitimately upset about that. I laughed at myself. I'm getting upset over a fake marble security issue, and then I went instantly from a little upset to just happy again. And it's such a it's such a great way to enjoy myself. It's like you can't really get truly upset because by the time you do, you just laughing at yourself in the end.
No, yeah, I put a little bit of the 2019 Marble Olympics on, like I said, right before this, and I put it on the big screen TV in our living room, and I'm like, you know, my fiance is off doing something in the other room, and I'm sitting here and like I'm getting into it, and I'm watching, and then, you know, somebody wins or somebody loses, and I'm like, oh my God, that was crazy, and I'm thinking, like, and then I hear the live reaction that I like instantly have in my head is like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, I gotta give it to JMR though in this respect. They keep it real. There's no like breaking that fourth wall per se, or however you say it, because like even when you have those like stage, like I think in the 2018 or 2019 there was like a security guard situation. There was like a streaker on the field, you know, and the security guards had to deal with them. And when that happens in the video, Greg Woods is so like professional about it, like it's like not weird. He's like, oh well, there is a streaker on the field, and it looks like the security guards are handling it. And then he makes like a joke about the streaker. He's like, oh, streaker not actually, he didn't even do that good on the event, you know, something like that. And it's just like he keeps it so real out there that you're not. It was 2019. Thanks you, Elijah. You're not like, you know, coming in and out of it. You're like all into it. Like it's like it's real, and that's like, I guess one of the things that's really pulls you in. I just want to know, in your little bit of watching 2019, did you warm up to any specific teams?
You know I did, but before I say that, I just want to mention that it's ridiculous because technically all the marbles are naked. So
I never thought about that. Then. I never did.
So really, everybody, like if one of them's streaking, they're all naked. So
this is quality content, but yeah. Oh my, that is a point. Someone, people listening out there in the comments, what do you think about that? Are they all naked? Question of the week.
But no. So I've taken a liking to the cat's eyes. I think they're called.
Nice. That's one of my favorite teams.
They've really, I mean, for one, they're like really easy to pick out of the crowd when they're just doing their thing amongst all the other marbles. And then I just like, you know, they started winning a couple events. I was like, yeah, all right. And I got behind them for a couple of the qualifiers, and then I was like, all right, I guess it's my team. Damn it.
Meow meow, right? Yeah. Because, you know, cats.
Cats are one of the easiest to identify, like the individual members compared to the rest of those.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching another event. There was like two white ones, and I was like, okay, one of them's a snowball, but I think the other one's also the snowball, but this is an individual event, so I don't know what's happening.
And the funny thing is, if that was in the 2019 Marble Olympics, the snowballs weren't even competing in that. So there you go.
It's probably the pinkies. It's probably the pinkies then.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they've been.
Maybe I need to change the color on my TV.
Yeah, and definitely don't root for the pinkies. I don't know what the hell just happened there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't either.
But yeah, this is that's good to know. I am also a Cat's Eyes fan. They're crazy Cat's Eyes, one of my favorite teams. They're underrated. They are. I'm gonna say that because I know they towards the end of the 2019 Marble Olympics they tailed off a lot. Don't start giving that shit at me. I mean, but they were so good at the beginning.
Oh, spoilers.
They actually medaled. Okay, it's been out for a long time. I feel I have the right to spoil. Okay, you know.
I feel like you may have earned that right, being the host of this podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
And also, it's still 2019, so like, you know, I should have watched it. It's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. You know, it's out there.
I mean, from my perspective on spoilers, like not everybody's had the chance to see something. So I always give spoiler warnings regardless of how old something is.
I like that.
Really?
And you can always do it in post too. You'd be like, all right, the next 30 seconds I'm going to be giving away this, so don't listen.
Next 30 seconds I'm going to be talking about a movie I watched that was made back in 1987. So just everyone go watch that before you listen to me. You know? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a good rule of thumb because, you know, people don't like spoilers. But yes, I'm going to spoil anyway. Crazy Cat's Eyes did great in the beginning of the season. They actually held a good position for most of the Marble Olympics. They actually were in the top 3 for a good amount of time. So, like, they were not doing bad this year. I mean, no, maybe it was top 4. It was one of them. It doesn't matter. It's still good performance, though. And I think they're going to come back next year. A little bit of a prediction here, but I think they're going to come back next year and absolutely kill it. But obviously, we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, I'm glad you picked that team. Crazy Cat's Eyes are a good team.
Now you bring that up with the Marble Olympics because you kind of said a season. I don't know if the season just consists of the one Marble Olympics 2019, 2020, 2021. Is there a series? Is there like majors that each one of them wants to win or something where, it's like the Marble Olympics, but then there's the US Open and, stuff like that? Is there a series or is it just one-offs per year?
For this year, we're doing something called Marble, or not. We are not. They are doing something called Marble Showdown.
Yeah, we're not doing anything. We're like talking.
where they're doing like basically so some of the teams who didn't qualify for this year's competition, like they get a chance to, I guess, compete again, which is gonna happen tomorrow. And so like they're basically expanding, I guess, the season of Marble Olympics to 2 different competitions now, which is nice. It gives us more to enjoy.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Also, this is like the main one, the way I see it in the and now Marble Sports is still new, so we haven't worked out where there's a ton of different leagues, but like this is like the main one. So like you want to try to get yourself to the Marble Olympics. If your Marble team's here, you're at the best competition out there, and there is a full stats spreadsheet that lists all the stats from all the teams and individual marbles back from 2016. So you can actually see they track the teams over time. So like, for example, the Savage Speeders are the best team in marble sports at the moment because they have, I don't know, they had like a first, a second, and a third, or I don't know what the hell they did, but they did really well like every year, and you can see that and you can look at the stats. So like it's marked, it's there. So you it kind of is based off like that. But there's no like, I guess besides the fact that you do have the qualifiers and then you have like Marble Showdown, which starts tomorrow. There's that pre-qualifiers to the qualifiers. Besides that, it's not like they're all feeding in from other channels. So, by the way, that would be cool in my opinion. If they started to feed in from other channels, like a bunch of different channels, made Marble Sports things, and they took the winners from those and could send them to the qualifiers. In my opinion, that would be super cool. But
that would be dope.
Yet.
Because one thing that they could do is they could take smaller marble events and they could have a general, like, I feel like JMR is like the premier guy doing a lot of the stuff. Maybe they could have smaller content creators having qualifying events and have sets of marbles that if they win that qualifying event, they send it to JMR to get into the qualifiers. That'd be like a really cool idea.
That would be so cool. Oh my God. Melikus, I know you're listening to this, man. I know you listen like every single time. Please. Okay? Because that would be cool. Now, you got to give them a little time to work this out because they're still working on a lot of crazy stuff going on their own channel. But
definitely.
Hey, give over a few years. I mean, of course, there's MarbleCon 2025 in the future. So along with that, I think you should start to let these other channels be able to have competitions and then take whoever the winner is and throw them in.
Yeah, and like technically speaking, we're kind of already doing, or they're kind of already doing that with Marble Showdown because like there's 2 fan teams that have been added in for the Showdown competition.
Cool.
So they're making their steps towards that.
Yeah, it sounds like they've already started to kind of sort that into the whole workings of this showdown in the marble sports world. So I just thought it was a cool idea. I literally just thought of it. It kind of just it helps build a community, gives people a chance to get a set of their own team into the grand event. It's the Olympics. Why wouldn't you have marbles from all over the world help be a part of it? So
right.
I guess it's not the Marble Olympics anymore. It's the Marble League. Whoopsies.
Yeah. Hey, we're probably gonna call
I'm gonna be saying
lot.
Marble Olympics for the next year, man. That's a whole nother discussion, by the way, because I actually don't think they should have changed the name, and stuff. But that, whatever. That's
you can't really
discussion.
help when the law is against you.
Right, that's true.
If you get a cease and desist, you don't just get to choose not to. I guess you do get to choose, but then you are also liable for any action taken against you in the court of law. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, now, let's make sure we don't give false information here. I don't think there was actually a legal thing saying, "Hey, you got to change the name."
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah,
no. There was back in 2018. Like there was we literally talked about this on the podcast.
But like if there was back in 2018 and like an actual legal thing, they wouldn't have waited 2 years to change it. You have to remember a little bit about. I mean, I don't know. I was talking to Mel a little bit. Like they were going to change it because ESPN didn't like it very much.
No, it wasn't. Melkus literally said it wasn't because of ESPN. He literally said in his own words that it was because they had already received heat from the, I think it was ISO or the USO, whatever the name of the committee for the Olympics is. Like the Olympics, like they contacted them back in 2018 to change the name, but then for whatever reason they didn't follow up on their threat. But then they recently did it again, I think after or before ESPN happened. So ESPN was not the reason for them doing it.
All right. Well, we'll just go with that. But yeah. I guess I didn't know all the information. But yeah, definitely, if there was legal action, you got to do what you got to do. But to be honest, in my opinion, Marble League is not that bad. Marble League is, you have that something about like going from marble into league where the L kind of rolls through that. Not too bad. So we'll have to get used to it out there, everybody.
Yeah.
But
hey,
yeah,
having Marble
Mr.
League,
Zander.
it gives it's a very standard level of competition for its name, and then like if you need to escalate it for like just go like what everybody else does with like the championship series, you like the Marble Championship Series. That elevates that and makes that it's like, oh, okay, this is sick now. We're up from the Marble League and we're up to the Marble Championship Series. So it's like, it's a good name for an everyday marble sports competition.
Right, and that was one of the points I was talking about before, because actually this one is supposed to be the top elite one, right? That's the thing, because this is supposed to be like the hardest competition. So changing it to Marble League does sort of take a little bit away from that. Which is something to think about. That's why there was also Marble Cup was on the table, which I feel was a little bit more like could like illustrate the top of the thing. But
that just kind of sounds like where you store your marbles. I don't know about that one.
I don't know, but I mean, hey, I mean, that's up to preference, though. I mean, I guess you'd be glad that Marble Cup did not go through, because I was pushing for that. I mean,
really?
I was like, yes, me and Melikus were talking. I was like, dude, I think we should go with Marble Cup. And he was like, well, we'll have to see what shakes out there. But, yeah, I guess you guys would be glad that Marble Cup didn't go through. My awesome opinions did not work out.
All right, I got another question for you.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I was going to ask you for another question, but I can't. Go ahead.
So right now, I mean, I don't know at what current state everything is at, but I mean, are there live events for this sort of stuff yet, or is it literally just like YouTube content at this time? Like, are there like conventions where people go to and like watch this sort of stuff? Is that in the works at all?
There was live streams to like ensure that there was like no tampering, because like for 2019 they had a agreement with, I guess, BetShares. Like there was actually an official gambling on it, and so they had to make sure. Yeah, so they had to make sure that like there was no like I guess cheating. So for the patrons, they like streamed live streamed the filming of the events to show that once they were uploaded, that they did not in fact change the results of the event or didn't rerun it until they got a specific result.
That makes sense. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the BetShares is now gone. For whatever reason it was. I think it was because the live events were annoying and people were killing each other over marbles. So.
And personally, if I'm being honest, I don't think there should have been official gambling on a sport that is probably watched by a lot of children too.
Mr.
Yeah,
Waff
but
always
it's not.
for that PG
I feel like the
content.
live stream wasn't broadcasting the fact that they're, it's up there because it's for gambling.
Right. But like they were advertising like in the channel itself, like, hey, we're bet on your favorite marble and stuff. It was official. Like they were making it very clear, like, hey, we're betting money.
Okay.
Bunch of bets of money.
I stand corrected.
Yeah. So I was not very. I personally wasn't like very into that, like, because that felt like kind of a bad idea a bad thing to encourage children to do.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with you completely because I think the way to come in here and not back up your point, but yeah, I definitely think the betting is a great idea. I would love to sit down, throw $20 on the Savage Speeders and be all smug because they kind of somehow win every time.
I mean, it does add stakes, like you can root for whatever team you want from the comfort of your own home, but if there aren't stakes, then you might not be as emotionally invested as you normally would be in a sporting event. Literally anything you watch on TV. I have my favorite football team. I'm invested because I'm a fan of them. And maybe it's my college. I went to school there, so I'm like super into my college football team. I don't care about other sports that don't have my college in them, and marbles, you can't go to a specific marble college or something like that. So betting,
that's coming.
Betting gives you that sort of excitement and keeps people invested and watching. I think it's good for sport growth. It's ethics for the age of the viewer could vary.
Yeah, for me, I feel like if you wanted to gamble on your own, like with your friends on your own time, like that'd be I'm fine with that. But like I think making it an official gambling thing for it felt a bit unethical. Like I guess like you could technically speaking, it was still barred only to 18-year-olds. So I suppose that it didn't affect the younger audience as much as I probably would think it did. But at the same time, it was actively sponsored. It was on the banners on the stadium, so everybody always saw it at every event.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know. For me personally, it was just something that I think that was a bit too far for me personally, but not it didn't really ruin my enjoyment of the events.
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching Nickelodeon and like they said, you can sign up for Nickelodeon magazine, but you have to go ask your parents if they can, if you can get it. Like, then I wouldn't ask my parents if I can get the Nickelodeon magazine. But if it was like like a commercial for a credit card and you're like, you have to be 18 to get this credit card, I'm like, okay, great. I don't care.
So I can see that. I understand that.
Sorry, I missed that whole freaking thing because like someone's bothering me on live things. Yeah, see, but yeah. Anyway, I'm coming right back in, feeling like well, I feel like I shouldn't have said anything and just let this roll. But yeah, I just interrupting here.
That's all right. That's
Hello,
that's what post is for. So I'm gonna. I think we're getting close to the end of my questions here, and I've got one kind of last note that I want to leave you guys with. I'm just kind of like, is this just one big elaborate ploy to find the ultimate marble that somebody's going to do nefarious things with because it is the purest of the glass spheres?
I
mean, I don't know how to answer that.
I've just tapped in.
You have entered the Illuminati corner of the Marvel Olympics.
Marbles in triangles form. But oh my god. But to try to, yeah, thank you. Wow, I got this, man. I got this. Okay, I was gone for like 5 minutes with distraction, so I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna ramble for a minute. But to try to put words to this, I don't think so. I mean, I think the goal is to try to like see which of the best Marvel teams. I mean, I guess I don't really know what they're doing. I mean, maybe they're just trying to make money because they create good content. I mean, I think
so let me jump in. It's randomized, right? I mean, the dye in the glass doesn't necessarily change its weight at all, right?
No, but
is that what we're trying to figure out?
Well, I've heard like studies with other things like paint can technically change weight value and like weight distribution. So it like ultimately there are going to be small imperfections in each marble that will change how it performs, but for the most part, it is entirely random. Like, and especially for Algadoo races, which is in a simulated environment, it is completely random because there's
right. Because that's all
virtual. Let me get a better Here's a better answer to this question. The point of the whole marble sports thing, at least for the Marble Olympics, is kind of like to have this own meaningless own world of its own competition. Like it's not like a plan to try to find the best marble out there. I mean, I guess technically that's what all competitions do. Like if you take sports, technically what they're doing is finding the best team each year. So that, that's what the point is. You see which team is the best each year. But it's not like, it's kind of like just to be its own world, its own new sport. Like when one of the main sports out there, like baseball, whatever, when that started being created, and then they started to like commercialize it and make it tournaments and national things and whatever. Kind of the same thing. It's just like, they're trying to make it like a whole exciting tournament, professional made tournament, so that it's more interesting to watch, and it's just a place for people to escape out of the real world and get into the other one.
Oh, so I mean, trust me, I'm all for the spirit of competition. It's just, and please don't take any of my comments as like,
no, just say it.
dissing or anything. I swear it's all just perspective of like, somebody that's just from the outside looking in and
Absolutely.
potentially looking to get in. I don't know. I mean, you think about it. It's like, I'm all for the spirit of competition, especially with all the sports that you just listed, but these are inanimate objects, and we're like putting them into a place of competition. And I think it's super cool because it is like using the term I said earlier, the suspension of disbelief, where you get into this realm. And if you break it down, it's how does this sphere react with gravity better than other spheres? And
I know. I get what you're saying.
But I think it's so cool that you guys are creating this whole community and making something of such a simple concept and putting so many variances and different events and coming together and finding ways to enjoy just something like this. I mean, it's super cool.
Yeah, and I know technically it's random chance. You'd like to the point of the thing is you kind of get yourself into the whole pretend world that like, they're training on their own time and all that kind of stuff. All that work put in by each of these marbles daily to keep themselves in shape for the Marble Olympics, losing that few pounds so they can get from 17 millimeters to 16 millimeters. Instead.
That's hilarious.
Yes, write that down, Mr. Woff. Oh my God! But,
today I had a good joke.
But like it's kind of just it's for the enjoyability of it, and you kind of pretend and you enjoy it as it's random, and that's kind of the thing. And we had a whole discussion, and it's really hard to really get to the answer to this question without just saying, yeah, you got to just accept that it's an inanimate object doing gravity, but. It's when we talked about the appeal of the fact that it is random, we talked about we call it marble chaos theory because we're all eloquent here up on the podcast.
I don't even know what that is. I don't even care. It's got an awesome name, and I'm in. Tell me all about it.
The gist of it here is, and we could go on for hours, is the fact that people love to watch things, even if it's not. People love to watch chaos. That's the real base of it. And even if it's not like, monster trucks slamming into each other and everyone like breaking their heads open, that kind of stuff. People love to watch competitions in which there is it's unexpected as to what happened. Anything can happen at any given day, and like it's just complete chaos out there. That's why if you take the Marble Olympics and you look at like events like Collision, I think it's a great example here. Where Collision is the marbles start on two sides, they come down to arena, they smack into each other, roll all over the place, and you kind of just see whichever team has the most marbles on the arena wins. Like that's pretty much how that works.
Okay, a little Mario Party action. I got you.
yeah. See, that would be great. I don't know what my point was before, but I just said that. The marble chaos theory, right? So it's like a thing of like the randomness is what people love. So the fact that you can put them up like that in the events, and it's just you don't know what's going to happen, and even though it's totally random, that's the thing that pulls you in. Just like why people love to gamble, right? You don't know what's going to happen. So like, even though you know gambling is just like gambling, similar thing. Like you take like a roulette machine, it's an inanimate object bouncing around. It's complete random chance. But the people still love it because they love that whole excitement of, okay, is my team going to win? Is my team going to lose? And that's like, it actually is in its way like a safe gambling, now that I'm really thinking about it. Because think about it, you pick a team, you just arbitrarily look at all the teams, and you're like, okay, that one right there, is my favorite. Hopefully you didn't pick the Pinkies, because then you'd be disappointed every time. But, I mean, you pick a team, and then you kind of just roll the dice on it. You go out, you watch the videos, and like, you hope for your team, and the chance of your team in this random dirt race, the chance of your team in this random chance situation, out of all 16 teams being the one that wins is about as much as your roulette ball that you pick landing in the square that you pick. So it's like that whole, you kind of get that whole feeling of like this excitement that kind of you get from gambling, and that's like the thing. That's why it excites people in that method, even though it's not real athletes doing real training. And I think that kind of maybe answers your question to some respect and touches a little bit on the marble chaos theory.
Sorry. So
please go ahead.
My earliest memory.
We're tripping over each other over here.
My earliest memory of stuff like this, like, so as a kid, like, at baseball stadiums, like, I'm pretty sure like there'd be like the red, blue, and green circle. Like you'd like buy like a little piece of cardboard, and like on the big screen you'd see them racing around a track and like see who wins. And I'm pretty sure like you was like to win like free ice cream or free pizza or hot dog or whatever. But for me as a kid, all I cared about was like seeing my green circle win the race, because like it was my favorite color. Like even as a kid, like I just like enjoyed seeing a race and rooting for something that kind of symbolized something that I liked. When green is my favorite color, so because I could identify with that, like I had something to root for. And I'm not sure really what it was, because I didn't have any, like, I knew that, I'm pretty sure that it was fake at the time, even at that age, but something about it still drew me in. And so that same reasoning applies to marble races.
There's something whimsical about it. I mean, I totally get that. It's cool. It's cool, guys. I've really enjoyed chatting with you guys about the whole marble sports world, and I mean, it's been a pretty enlightening conversation for me, to say the least.
Any final burning questions for your amazing hosts up here?
No, I mean, I hit you with the ones that I was really curious about, and I'm really, like, you guys did such a good job of just accidentally setting me up. I was like already planning on asking a question next, and you were like, your last 3 words were leading me into my next question. It was like, went so smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, great that it worked out that way. A little bit of chaos theory. I don't know. That really didn't apply, but yeah, threw it in there anyway.
Whatever.
But fuck it.
Hey. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Don't cut that out. I don't know. We don't even have. We should make rules, but we have not made any because that takes work. But hey, you should definitely watch Showdown.
I'm gonna be the guest that makes you have to make rules for your guests.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And dude, listen, like, you should definitely go watch Marvel Showdown. And anyone out there, I'm assuming if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are watching Marvel Showdown because you're pretty invested in the community. But yeah, I mean, Marvel Showdown starting tomorrow, guys, and it's just going to be awesome. And it's another great way to get yourself into the teams, because remember, the 8 teams out of the 12 that top 8 from the competition, they will actually go, and you'll see them in the qualifications for the 2020 Marble Olympics coming beginning, spring 2020, I think, around or whatever. So, I mean, I would just, go check that out, definitely, and try to get into marble sports. And I'm glad we could field some of your questions as a new fan. And I'm hoping that other new fans will get to hear this and, consider all this stuff. So,
yeah, I hope I asked some good questions for other people that might be trying to get into it. So
You did. You were great. But anyway, guys, I think that's the end of part 1 here. Obviously, if you're in the live listening or chatting right now, we're going to be rolling right into part 2 in like 5-10 minutes. And I don't think Xander will be staying with us for that because you had to go, right?
Hey, this is Commander Wolf from the future. I'm here to let you know that there actually is not going to be a part 2 to this episode, because when we recorded it, our guest had to leave, and Nova Wolf decided to join us. However, he seemed to have lost his audio, and so that whole episode is just kind of gone. So instead, we will be doing an episode 14 next week. So apologies for that. Hopefully it will go much better and much smoother. All right, now back to the episode.
I do have to go. I've got to put my doggo to bed and get up with him at like 5 o'clock in the morning because he's still a puppy and doesn't sleep all that much at night. So,
oh man, but yeah, it's been great having you on, and we'll hopefully see you again, dude. If you continue to get into Marvel Sports, we'd love to have you on again. Hear like how maybe a little bit about your journey into the deeper parts of this world. You know, I mean,
all right.
Get into the Discord, get into the Reddit or whatever it is. But yeah.
Hey man, thank you guys so much for having me on. This has been a lot of fun. I didn't think that I would be able to just sit down and have an hour-long conversation about Marvel Sports, and here we are about to crest that threshold. So,
Yep.
I mean,
this is the place to come for just talking.
Heck yeah! All right, well, thanks a lot, guys.
You're welcome, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Fortnite Champions podcast.
One last minute plug.
They attempt to do that weekly. Yeah, guys, go check that out, though. And Mr. Waff, he's doing the editing, so I don't know when the music's going to come in. He's probably going to come in and cut me off on this sentence
That's
here.
right. Bing, bong, boop, beep, boop, doop, 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 doop. I don't know what your theme music is, so. Bye, guys. Bing, bong, boop, beep, boop, doop, 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 doop. Bing, bong, boop, beep, boop, doop, 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 doop. Bing, bong, boop, beep, boop, doop, 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 doop. Bing, bong, boop, beep, boop, doop, 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 doop. Bing, bong, boop, beep, boop, doop, 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 doop. Bing, bong, boop, beep, boop, doop, 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 doop. Bing, bong, boop, beep, boop, doop, 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 doop. Bing, bong, boop, beep, boop, doop, 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 doop.